Xavier Musketeers undefeated at home, hosting the Golden Eagles of Marquette. Good evening with Nick Baugh. I'm Vince Welch. You like intensity, you like high scoring, you like stars, you've come to the right place tonight.
There's no doubt about it. You got the top two scorers in the Big East in Marcus Howard and Andrew Rousey. You got the nation's top active scoring duo in J.P. McCura and Trayvon Blewett. I think the defense can be tested a little bit here this evening. And sometimes in these star-studded games, Vince, it's a role player that can be the difference. But if you like offense, you come to the right place.
Starting lineups tonight for Marquette. The three-headed monster with Marcus Howard, Andrew Rousey, and Sam Hauser, all with 60 or more three-pointers. And as mentioned by Nick, Trayvon Blewett and J.P. McCura, they make the Musketeers go. This is the 73rd meeting between the two. They've already played once this season, and it was a good one. Xavier won at 91-87, 11 ties and 10 lead changes in that game, and we expect another tight one tonight. Xavier in the home white, Marquette in yellow, and we are underway at the Cintas Center. Xavier ranked 8th in the country, undefeated at home, 13-0, but Marquette did win here a year ago. Inside pass, and right away, it's a bucket for Karam Cantor.
That's where Xavier's advantage lies, in the interior. It's what Chris Mack wanted to see, own the paint and own the glass.
Head coach of the Musketeers, Chris Mack, in his 9th season at Xavier, 48 years old, the winningest coach all time at Xavier, former player here. Rousey on the bounce. Boy, these guys can light it up, and they don't need much room. There's Hauser, guarded by Blewett. Shot clock under 10. Hauser off the dribble, gets baseline, and can't finish. Here comes McCura. Cantor has really been playing well of late, draws the foul for Matt Help. Marquette is coached by Steve Wojciechowski in his 4th season. Led the Golden Eagles to the NCAA tournament a year ago. I don't know if there are two coaches any more intense than these guys, man. You watch these guys at practice, they are getting after it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Both these guys, you can just feel the passion when you're at practice. And you know, Marquette coming off of a 9-day layoff here. And that's something that Steve Wojciechowski was a little bit nervous about. I think oftentimes, Vince, layoffs can impact you offensively. And Marquette's an offensive team. So we'll see what things look like early in the game when Marquette's trying to kind of get their game legs back.
Make it even more important to get off to a good start.
Absolutely. Because offense is it's rhythm and timing. And when you take 9 days off, you can be a little disjointed about those departments.
Howard and Rousey, 1-2 in the Big East in scoring. Both 5'11", and they can put it in the basket. And there's Sakar Anna misses. Matt Help offensive rebound for Marquette. Gives the Golden Eagles another chance, and Howard draws some contact and somehow gets it in the hoop.
I think that's something that Rousey and Howard are going to have to do, because Xavier's going to run those guys off the three-point line. There's going to be a lot of space inside. Can't shy away from driving it to the rack. Good take from Howard.
Both these teams predominantly man-to-man teams, as you saw Naj Marshall, the freshman, the left hand.
And he's just continuing to get more comfortable and more comfortable. Long, athletic, and good at driving to the rack.
And just a freshman.
Unbelievable. Scruggs and Marshall feel like the next duo that's going to just drive people crazy.
That's what Marcus Howard does. Knocks down the three-pointers. He had 11 threes in a game twice this season. Not just once, twice 11 triples in one game.
Yeah, there are a lot of good shooters. There aren't a lot of elite great shooters. And Howard and Rousey, and I'll even throw Hauser in there. These guys are elite level three-point assassins.
And here comes Rousey. quick on the handle. One of the things Chris Mack talked about is not letting Marquette get baskets in transition, especially those pull-up threes. They've done a good job of defending that so far tonight here in these first 3 minutes.
That means your point of pickup has to be higher on the floor.
Gooden, three. Quentin Gooden, the sophomore.
Only his 4th made 3 of the season. Doesn't take or make a lot of them, but he's capable. I always look at guys that are good free throw shooters. Gooden's about an 80% free throw shooter, so obviously he's got some touch. He's just got to get some confidence from beyond the arc.
Called for the walk. Sakar Annam.
Look at this. Just all it takes is that little separation to get an inch, and he's letting it rip. And Gooden knocking one down. If I'm Marquette, I'm not going to overreact to that. You'd much rather have Gooden taking catch and shoot threes, Paul Scruggs shooting catch and shoot threes, and Blewett or Makira.
Yeah, you live with a guy who's only made 4 all season,
No
taking
doubt.
one. And there's Blewett with the long triple, missed it. Rebound pulled down, and here comes Marquette. They want to go in transition. And with the outside shooters of Rousey, and there's a whistle and a foul. Going to be a double foul underneath Trayvon Blewett. And Theo John, I think, are going to be called for the double foul. It's a good look at Theo John, the freshman from Minneapolis.
See Blewett trying to do his work early. Contact both ways. Now, in a perfect world, you call the first one, but sometimes there's so much wrestling in the post that a double foul does feel necessary to kind of clean things up down there.
Blewett pulls the Howard miss, and then it's blocked by Rousey. Gooden says, hey, I've hit one, I'll knock down another. Just to show you it wasn't lucky.
Trying to shut me up, huh, Quentin Gooden? Again, it looks good coming out of his hands. He gets good rotation. And if he's knocking down shots, talked about those role players playing a big factor in this game.
And an illegal screen going against Marquette. Hey, it's one of those role players getting it done for Chris Mack early. Quentin Gooden with a pair of triples, and Xavier on top. Early threes from Quentin Gooden, and the 8th-ranked Xavier Musketeers on top of Marquette early. J.P. Makira for Marquette, the player of the week, or for Xavier, the player of the week in the Big East.
He was outstanding at Seton Hall. He willed his team to victory. Look at all these plays in the second half. Couple of 3 balls, then making a play to Sean O'Mara to get him an easy one off the window. And then you know Makira's never too shy to dive on the floor and get dirty. And how about the play of the game? Oh. The tip dunk for J.P. Makira.
In those 2 wins,
game.
impressive over St. John's and Seton Hall. You see his numbers in those 2 games. And this is kind of the heart and soul of their team. I mean, he just doesn't do it statistically. I mean, he's a leader on this club.
Yeah, he sets the tone emotionally for this group. And they feed off of his energy and his fight. You know, Blewett's important, obviously. You got a guy that's going to go over 2,000 points. But Makira, I think, sets the tone for their group in every way.
Sean O'Mara into the ball game for Xavier, wears 54, his first action here tonight. You saw Blewett with that missed shot knocked out of bounds. Xavier will keep it.
Usually when O'Mara comes in the game, they like to get O'Mara a look.
Makira leans in, tries to draw the foul, but gets the basket.
He's really good at pivoting into opportunities to shoot. And oftentimes he'll seek out contact, but he can make shots through the contact.
It's an 8-0 run for the Musketeers.
How about the length of Marshall on Rousey? About 6'8", and he gets switched off. And this is where Hauser's really improved, Vince, in the post.
Howard looking for some room, gets it, and knocks down the 3-pointer, his second of the night.
How do you stop it? I mean, that's the thing that gives these coaches headaches. Now you can do about a step-back contested 22-footer, but they go in with regularity.
Good hands defensively from Greg Elliott, knocks it away and has to chase it back down as Marshall gets it into the front court. Makira, oh, he missed the dunk. May have been a little too far under the basket and didn't realize how deep he was as Rousey draws the contact and will go to the free throw line and shoot a couple.
See, that's what I think Rousey and Howard can do, especially in transition, because Xavier's going to be screaming out to pick him up 25, 30 feet from the basket. And so you got a lot of real estate to drive and get downhill. So I think Marquette needs to pick and choose their times off of misses and turnovers to attack when Rousey and Howard got the rock.
Oh, there is a rare miss from Rousey, a 91% free throw shooter. The top two free throw shooters, not just the top two scorers, are Howard and Rousey, but they're also the top two free throw shooters. Howard's not even missed a free throw this season.
Yeah, it's amazing. 57 for 57 on the season.
So Rousey hits 1 of 2. He got that miss out of the way early. See Jamal Cain come in for Rousey.
Marquette will run this little three-quarter court press here just to slow down Xavier.
Marshall took it but missed it, and now Howard pushes to the basket. Boy, he is on fire. 8 early points.
A guy capable
10
of big
early
nights.
points.
I mean, he can really fill it up.
Howard's got 10 of the 11 for Marquette. And now foul against Xavier.
Look at Howard pushing in transition. Look how he uses the rim to protect from the shot blocker. Scruggs might be able to get a piece of that one if he stays on the left side, but he goes to the right side and gets it to go down. And so you got Howard rolling and blew it now with 2 personal fouls. So some interesting predicaments for Chris Mack.
Yeah, so Blewett has to go to the bench with those 2 fouls. Paul Scruggs, freshman, into the ball game. Where's number 1 for Xavier? Nice screen and cut inside, but they can't finish. And O'Mara pulls down the rebound. And here's Scruggs, the freshman from Indianapolis. A couple of Indianapolis players on this Xavier team. Blewett from Indy, and as is Scruggs. Didn't waste any time making his presence felt. The freshman knocks down a triple.
Scruggs has only made now 6 threes on the season. And I asked all the coaches for Xavier today, hey, how good of a shooter is Scruggs? And they said he can shoot. Just hasn't been able to get it to go down with regularity.
Sometimes it takes those freshmen a while to get going, but Scruggs will really get after you defensively.
The other thing, too, Vince, is sometimes it takes some time for the guys to get used to playing just in spurts and not having the ball in their hands all the time. That could be something with Scruggs.
Howard hits again. He's got a dozen. And there is Scruggs. Count it. Back-to-back baskets for Paul Scruggs.
So Howard, look at just high off the window with the soft touch. And then Scruggs able to get downhill off the ball screen. Really strong physical guard. And Chris Mack raves about Scruggs' future here in Cincinnati.
So with Blewett on the bench with 2 fouls, Scruggs comes in and contributes immediately with a 3-point shot and then a hoop and harm. 6 for Scruggs. And the lead is 6 for Xavier. Annam needs some help. Hauser's there. Shot clock again under 10 as Howard works on the bounce. He is so quick but can't convert this time.
Couple of missed bunnies for Marquette. Those Hanchi on the road.
Kaiser Gates, and there's Mikura. Little fadeaway. Missed it, and Hauser pulls down the rebound, clears for Marquette. Marcus Howard off to a great start with 12 of the 13 points. And Sakar Annam adds to the Golden Eagles total.
Now, when the ball goes into the post, Hauser and Rousey and Howard are going to be posting up, but guys like Annam and Kane and Elliott, they got to be cutters to the basket. You've seen some good basket cuts from those guys getting opportunities at the 10.
Good and little one-on-one work. Quentin Gooden's got a couple of three-pointers in that basket. He's got 8. It's been a long time since he scored that many points in a game. The last 4 games, he's been 6 or less. Howard gets the defender in the air, misses the 3. Gates pulls down the rebound. O'Mara, a couple of big bodies working down in the paint. Cannon, basket and the foul. Harry Froling whistled for it.
Well, Vince, you got an offensive explosion here both ways. Quentin Gooden, good little spin dribble to the baseline to get one to go down. He's off to a good start. And you got to feed the big fella, O'Mara. 3 the hard way.
Has yet to score and is on the bench with a couple of fouls. But Xavier still on top by 8 as we're in the huddle with Chris Mack, the head coach of the Musketeers.
Fellas, on the defensive end now. Keep chasing. Make Marcus Howard look hard. All his looks are hard. Let's get this floor. Let's go.
And that's all you can do against guys like Marcus Howard, who are electric scorers, is just make them work and make their shots tough and contested. And so it's on all 5 Musketeers to communicate screens when they get switched on to Howard. Got to run him off the three-point line, make that guy work. But Howard is rolling early with 12 points already.
Well, Xavier's got a nice punch from its bench here in the early going tonight. 9 bench points to 0 for Marquette. And the lead is 9. Helt can't finish. Makura clears.
Another missed layup for Marquette.
There's Gates, lets it fly, missed it. He can hit those. Kaiser Gates, one of those players that brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, he's settled in after now accepting his 6-man role. And he's flourishing. He's averaging about 12 points a game in his last 3 contests. I like bringing shooting off the bench.
There's Scruggs going to be called for the reach around. You know, we heard Chris Mack talking about making Howard work.
Yeah, look at Howard on the baseline. And look at Sean O'Mara, 54 in white, and Scruggs, number 1 in white. They provide little speed bumps almost as Howard's coming up that triple screen. That's how you make a guy work. You can't let someone just be comfortable running off screens and catching at their spots.
Hauser to the bench. Rousey, the drive, forced it up, couldn't get it. Good defense from Tyreek Jones, fresh into the game for Xavier. And now Makura is going to be called for the charge. A little out of control.
It looked like he lost the ball right at the end, and I made him have to commit to hanging on to the ball. So he lost it, and no doubt about it, Howard set, couldn't dish it off to Kaiser Gates. And so with J.P. Makura on the floor and blew it off the floor, Makura is going to have to be the main facilitator and creator offensively.
Because there are guys on Xavier that are out there that can score, but it's not their role other than Makura, right?
Yeah, Makura is a really underrated passer. He's got good feel, so he's got to put his foot on the gas to make plays.
Gooden, who's had a hot hand here in the early going. Makura draws the contact, and he's going to go to the free throw line and shoot a couple. Xavier, a very good free throw shooting team. In fact, they're at 77% for the season so far, on pace to be the best in school history.
And on top of that, they have made the 2nd most free throws in the country. And so the free throw line is a huge part of Xavier's game.
And right on cue, Makura misses one.
Come on, JP.
It was one of the things that Coach Wojciechowski was concerned about in regards to winning this game tonight, is the Marquette coach was not putting Xavier on the free throw line as often as they did in game 1.
It's how you can make up for getting outscored at the 3-point line. Marquette often outscores you from distance, but Xavier can make that up at the free throw line.
Marquette down by 10. Can't get it. Boy, they've had several of them right at the basket that have bounced around.
Xavier, give them credit, though. They've done a good job contesting things at the rim, too.
It'll be a foul over the back against Xavier. Tyreek Jones called for it, his first. 10-point lead for Xavier, the largest lead of the night. Sakar Annam along with Andrew Rousey, Greg Elliott, Marcus Howard, and Matt Helt all on the floor for Marquette. Howard already with a dozen, gets in and gets it off the glass.
Wow. I mean, that is a 9.9 on a scale of 10 degree of difficulty. Things from the top of the backboard. Howard on a roll. Got to get some other guys going, though, right now.
You know, at 5'11" and with the three-pointer numbers that he puts up, you'd think maybe he's just a shooter, kind of a catch-and-shoot guy, but he's not just a shooter, he's a scorer.
He's got a really good change of speeds, and you have to run him off the three-point line so he can drive and score.
Scruggs showing he can get it done, too. The freshman with 8 here in the first half. Well above his average. Average is just 4 a game. Howard again off the back of the iron, and Scruggs rebounds. And McCura called for the travel. Watch Marcus Howard trying to get work done here off the window.
High that is, Vince. He has got it going early. But a good lift off the bench for Mr. Scruggs for Xavier.
The Cintas Center in Cincinnati. FS1 College Hoops. It's sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Sold out again tonight, Xavier and Marquette. Here's Golden Eagles head coach Steve Wojciechowski.
The ball's got to move. Then after movement, drive it. That's what's worked. Move the ball, and after ball movement, drive it. Or hit the post.
Marcus Howard getting the job done for Marquette. He's 6 of 11 from the floor, but the rest of the team just 1 of 9.
And Steve Wojciechowski looking for more ball movement and then attacking. But you know, the rest of the team outside of Howard just 1 for 9. But a lot of those shots, Vince, are point blank right at the rim layups. And oftentimes coaches are more into quality of shots and quality possessions rather than the end result, because over the course of 40 minutes, if you get good shots, they're going to start to go down. So although the offensive numbers aren't great and only 17 points so far, I've liked what Marquette's gotten offensively.
They've had several bounce around the iron and fall out. But they have gotten to the rim, as Howard does again. So quick off that first step.
He has done a good job of attacking when he's getting crowded off the three-point line. And he's got such a high level of shot credibility that you're always creeping out and on your toes thinking about the three-pointer.
Working inside is Tyreek Jones, the sophomore. Shoots 65% from the floor. He is tough when he gets it that deep.
It's always good to bring 2 guys in O'Mara and Jones off the bench that can really score efficiently.
Going the other way against Marquette, Sakar Annam. Second foul on Annam. So Blewett back into the ballgame for Xavier. Remember, he's got 2 fouls. And Annam's going to take a break. Rousey's back in.
Well, and if Blewett's in, you probably want to try and dial up a look for him.
And some shot clock issues here at the Cintas Center. Making sure they get that corrected.
I like this move from Chris Mack. You don't want to sit a guy for too long and let him get cold and have 0 rhythm. Even just a 2-3 minute spurt here from Trayvon Blewett, even if he doesn't score, just helps his flow as this game progresses.
And Blewett has not scored. We've played over 13 minutes. Leading scorer for the Musketeers yet to hit the score column. Off the mark. Whistle underneath. It's going against Marquette. Froling picks up his second. Big sophomore from Australia.
And Vince, we go to a lot of shoot-arounds, and lots of times teams get up a lot of shots. They walk through things. Xavier is one of the few teams that they'll do an offensive rebounding drill, where two coaches get pads and guys have to just crash the glass. And you can see that spilling over into the mentality, into the game. It's a part of the DNA of Xavier basketball.
Long three off the iron and pulled down by Najee Marshall. Marshall clears the rebound and then dribbles it end to end. How about that for the freshman?
Big time. At 6'7" to handle it like that. Goodness.
Froling. And now Rousey. Rousey hasn't got one trapped yet tonight as Kane lets one fly. Misses the three. Long rebound to Gooden. Gooden. Oh! Exclamation point.
Wow.
How about Quentin Gooden? Xavier by 14.
Look at this in and out, little half cross. And then with authority, Gooden's got it rolling here this evening.
Leads the team in assists, but showing he's got more than one dimension in his game. Marcus Howard will turn and spin. Can't get it. Help the rebound, but they're going to call him for the push off underneath. Matt Helt, his second. A 14-point advantage for Marquette, or for Xavier. And you were talking about early the challenge for Marquette after having not played in 9 days, getting off to a good start, and how Coach Wojciechowski was concerned about that, falling behind early here tonight.
It's hard. I mean, 9-day layoff, take a few days off, you practice a little bit, and you get into a rhythm of a couple of days, game prep, then here comes a game. Couple of days to prep, then here comes a game, and it's hard to get out of that. I think it's certainly impacted Marquette's rhythm offensively and flow offensively. But when you can shoot it like Marquette can from beyond the arc, you can erase a lead in just 2 or 3 possessions quick.
Xavier's done a good job defensively against Hauser and Rousey. Hauser and Rousey, both guys that have made more than 60 three-pointers this season, and they just have not gotten going yet.
No, they've stayed attached. They have not given those guys any space. And even when Hauser's posted up, Vince, there's been a good degree of difficulty for Hauser to even try to attack.
You saw Chris Mack not in agreement with that foul call against Quentin Gooden. And Matt Helt will go to the free throw line. Hits the front end of the 1-and-1.
You wonder if Steve Wojciechowski will want to kind of change the complexion of this game defensively. Go with the zone, go with maybe a 3/4 court press. See if that can't springboard you offensively a little bit.
Jamal Kane comes in as Helt goes to the bench after those free throws. Xavier by 13. And they're doing it without their top player, Trayvon Blewett. For the most part, Blewett has yet to score as Kaiser Gates drives and gets the deuce.
I think you're seeing tonight how Xavier is more than just the J.P. McCarron and Trayvon Blewett show. They got a lot of different guys that can score and attack.
And there's a foul. That one going against Gates. And that is the first on Gates. And with that basket, by the way, on the other end of the floor, we were talking about Gates and his versatility. The Xavier bench has given the Musketeers a 15-zip advantage here in the first half. 15-0 in points off the bench as Howard missed his first free throw of the season.
Unbelievable. 57 in a row and then misses it.
And Gooden knocks down another triple. 3 3-pointers for Quentin Gooden. I mean, a little bit of everything tonight. Even Marcus Howard missing a free throw after making 66 in a row. Thrown out of bounds, and Marquette will keep it. I mean, we've seen Rousey miss a free throw. He shoots 91%. Howard, who hadn't missed a free throw, as you see it there, since March 4th of last year.
Unbelievable.
Had made 66 in a row before that miss. And there's a whistle and a hold against Kaiser Gates. Now, you had a long string of free throws. The state record in Nebraska as a high school player, right? Does it still stand?
It still stands.
It still stands at what? Was it
58?
58. So is there pressure? You got a guy like Marcus Howard who made 66 in a row. Is there pressure on that kind of streak?
No doubt, especially when it becomes well publicized. Everybody knows about it. The talking heads like me and you or reference it every time he goes to the line. Might be a little relief from Howard saying, all right, I don't got to worry about that streak anymore.
Here's Sam Hauser at the free throw line. 6'8" sophomore from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. He's got a younger brother that has committed to Marquette, and the coaching staff, Steve Wojciechowski and company, very exciting about his arrival.
You can tell Coach Wojciechowski's eyes lit up when we start talking about the younger Hauser coming to Marquette. But Marquette's got to find a way to stop the bleeding here on this end. Get some stops.
Under 4.5 to play in the first half. It's a 16-point lead for Xavier, and they've done it despite Trayvon Blewett not scoring, but they've gotten performances like that from one of those role players, if you will, Karam Cantor.
It's really been the bench and the role players on full display for Xavier.
And Howard getting it done for Marquette. Howard's got 18 here in the first half.
Just too many easy shots right in the paint, right at the rim for Xavier.
There's Blewett. And now Gooden really shown some offense here tonight. Blewett for three. Finally on the board.
And that's what happens. You're getting body blows in the paint. So the defense collapse, and Blewett gets one to go down.
One of the leading scorers in the history of Xavier. Currently number 5 on the list, and he can move up that list tonight. Howard off the dribble again. He's got 20, and we've got 3 minutes to play yet in the first half.
That'll be another 50-point night for Howard.
And remember, Howard scored 52 in a game earlier this season. Blewett somehow, despite the contact. So it took him a while to get on the board, but then Trayvon Blewett, the senior, answers with back-to-back baskets. Scramble for it. Rousey for three. Missed it. Gooden. Oh. Rousey in transition. Nothing has come easy for Marquette tonight, and he had a nice look at the three and decided to take it in and got the deuce.
Really ought to get Rousey going, just try and get one to go through the hoop. He's the guy that's got to help out in the scoring department with Howard right now. Now, how about that?
Once he gets going, you better look out.
Those scorers just need one to go down.
Howard answers. Howard with 22, over the 20-point mark for the 18th time this season. But Trayvon Blewett has finally gotten hot for the Musketeers.
Just wanted to get some rhythm, and Blewett on a little run himself. Xavier up big.
Rob Stone in studio. Coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report, would Florida continue their rise back to the top 10? Number 1, Villanova takes a personnel hit. And we highlight a couple of ACC schools really needing wins. Vince, Nick, we'll see you guys at the break.
Still a minute 36 left to play in the first half, and it has been an impressive performance from Xavier, up 18. Hey, don't forget Sunday on Fox. Speaking of great hoops, college basketball doubleheader, Villanova and Marquette. Remember, Marquette beat Villanova once last season. And then Big Ten action, third-ranked Purdue taking on rival Indiana. All starts 12:30 Eastern on Fox, or you can always stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Boy, how about the night Marcus Howard has going? He's got 22 of Marquette's 31. He's been terrific, but the rest of the guys, not so much for Marquette.
And look at that. The rest of the team just 2 of 13. So as good as Howard's been, the rest of the group's been struggling equally the other direction. So you got to get some help from your running mates, in particular Rousey and Sam Hauser. Rousey just 1 for 6 from the floor. So Howard's been spectacular. Got to get the other guys on track, though.
JP Makura hits both free throws. It's a 20-point lead for Xavier, and I didn't expect it.
Now, this has been an explosion.
Thought this one would be much tighter than what we've seen here in the first half, but Xavier has just been dominant. And for the most part, they've done it without their leading scorer, Trayvon Blewett, who picked up a couple of early fouls, didn't score much, and now all of a sudden Blewett has gotten hot, knocked down a couple of three-pointers. He's got 8.
15 bench points to nothing in favor of Xavier. And really, Quentin Gooden's explosion has been the difference in the game.
Naj Marshall can't get it down, battle for it. Rebound pulled down by Theo John. Marquette down 20. It's their largest deficit they've faced all season long. Hauser against Marshall. Has it knocked away, but recovers. Howard into the paint. He might be on his way. I mean, we got a joke that he might be on his way to another 50-pointer, but I mean, he's got 24, and first half's not over with yet.
Unbelievable. And he's only knocked down 2 threes. So what he's done is just taken what the defense has given him. They're daring him to drive in the paint and score, and Howard's showed a little bit of everything. Floaters off the window. Wow.
Xavier with a timeout. 18-point lead with 17 left in the half. Marcus Howard had 52 points in a game at Providence earlier this season.
Yeah, the amazing thing about this game is he struggled for the first 16 minutes of the contest and absolutely exploded in the second half. Rousey was battling foul trouble, so Howard had to put his foot on the gas, and he did. What an unbelievable performance. 52 for Marcus Howard. He could be on his way for another 50-burger here this evening.
Yeah, that's the most points scored in a game this season in the NCAA. He made 11 three-pointers in that game en route to the 52 points. He's got 24. Not quite halftime yet as Gates lets 3 fly, missed it, and the first half is going to come to an end. Xavier by 18, 51-33, but Marcus Howard is doing his part. He's got 24 for Marquette. After the break, get you out to Rob Stone and Donnie Marshall for the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report. Xavier ranked 8th in the country, trying to protect its perfect home record this season. 51-33 at the half.
For Marquette in that first half.
Jeep Grand Cherokee stat of the game as you look at the comparison. The 2 3-pointers for Howard, the only 2 Marquette has made all night. They're 2 of 11 from 3-point range. Rousey and Hauser have not gotten on track tonight at all for Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette's not going to win if they don't start knocking down threes. Not only because it's going to erase the deficit, but it's how they're built. It's what they do. We also look at 15-0 bench points in favor of Xavier. Well, that guy right there, Quentin Gooden, I mean, what are you going to do? He had made 3 threes all season. Then he knocked down 3 threes, 3 for 3 in the first half. So I'm sure the coaching staff of Marquette kind of pulling their hair out a little bit.
Original starters on the floor for both teams. Marquette in gold, Xavier in white. Xavier trying to protect that perfect home court record. They're 13-0 at home this season. And Marquette gets a big three from Sam Hauser. They needed that and more.
No doubt. Got to get those guys rolling. Hauser and Rousey got to get rolling.
Hauser's made 63s this season. Guy can really light it up, but that's his first tonight.
Sometimes it's hard when you build a big lead to play with the same intensity right out the gates. Xavier's got to reestablish who's the boss here early.
Shot clock almost expired in the hand of Gooden, but he got it off just in time. And here comes Howard at 24 first half points, loses it out of bounds. It's a turnover. Howard thought he was bumped. Hard to be critical of Marcus Howard with that turnover, though. The way he played in the first half, just absolutely terrific.
Like the idea, pushing it, and has had success in transition, attacking the rim. Marquette's been pretty clean with taking care of the ball, and the fourth turnover was one of Steve Wojciechowski's concern heading into this game.
Mixing it up with a little full court pressure. Gooden at 13 points in the first half. He only 2 games all season long where he scored more than 13. Turnover and off the leg of Makura. Nice job by Rousey to get that basketball and have the awareness to throw it off the leg of Makura.
Really good awareness, athleticism, body control. Those are the plays you got to start making, those loose balls, 50-50 plays. If Marquette wants to get back into this game and win it, they all have to go Marquette's way.
Good look at Rousey. Coach Chris Mack and his defensive scheme for Xavier has done a nice job on the senior. Averages just under 21 a game.
Done a good job making Marquette drivers.
And a foul against Marquette on the screen. It's going to be Matt Help. That's his third. Causes Coach Wojciechowski to get the freshman Theo John off the bench. 6'9", 245. When they start making freshmen that size.
And he does not look like a freshman at all. Most freshmen don't know where the weight room's at.
I think he found it.
He's been in the weight room for a long time.
Gooden gets into the paint. Nice dish to Cantor. That's what we're used to seeing from Quentin Gooden, the leader in assists for Xavier.
And I like that. Understand that he's had it going offensively, but what he does best is make plays for others.
Count it. Howard's the basket and the foul. Gooden penetrate and dish.
And he does a good job of making plays for others. Understanding that Theo John's going to come and want a shot block, and Cantor, right place, right time. This is what Gooden does best. See so many guys think like it's their night offensively, so they start thinking it's a license to take bad shots. I like the maturity from the sophomore there.
Can't expect Howard to miss another one. He missed one already tonight, which ended his streak of 66 in a row. Well, I think he's probably done missing for the season.
I would assume so. That's the one he's allotted one miss a year. Marshall's versatility offensively and defensively. He's been able to guard Rousey with his length. He's also been able to switch on to some bigger guys like Hauser.
Theo John can't get it. Rebound pulled down by Cantor. Just underway, second half. Vince Welch and Nick Baugh at the Cintas Center as Cantor gets another one.
Too easy. And Marquette just has not provided enough resistance at the rim against the X-Men.
Cantor right at his season average of 10. Back-to-back baskets here in the second half as Howard puts it up, can't get it. Najee Marshall is there to clear for Xavier. Tough guard for Rousey, having to check Makura. Oh, nice pass from Cantor inside to Gooden, but couldn't handle it. The official says it belongs to Marquette. The fans here in Cincinnati don't like it.
Let's see if the official's got it right. Nice little pass there. Ooh. Gooden might have got it last. I don't think people here in the Cintas Center agree.
Chris Mack not wearing a striped shirt underneath that suit, but doing a little refereeing from over there on the sideline.
Take a look. Did Gooden
right there?
Yeah. I think Gooden might have got it. It's amazing how often the officials get those bang-bang plays right. They turn it right back over.
A little mix-up between freshman Greg Elliott and Andrew Rousey. There's a look at Elliott. And Rousey going to the bench. Cantor looked at the three. And Gooden, who's been a real offensive force tonight, gets it into the paint and then drags the foot. Turnover.
Good bit of defense from Marcus Howard. He's fired up, and he should be. Being physical with Gooden, sliding his feet, walling up, forcing the turnover.
Howard takes it personal, doesn't he? I mean, that's the sign of the leader. I mean, this guy, he gets upset when his team has a bad practice, much less a bad game.
And one thing that Howard needs to learn how to do is get other guys rolling and not just himself, as Cantor runs the floor, another easy one. Marquette just giving up too many layups.
And Cantor is really getting it done. He's got all 3 baskets here in the second half for Xavier. Foul called against Gooden. Xavier stretching it out. What a game it's been for Quentin Gooden. 5 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 3 from three-point range. He's got 13 points of four. He'd made 3 three-pointers all season coming into tonight.
All season. But you need efforts like that. You know, to win in conference, you're so well scouted. You know the top guys' pet plays and tendencies like Makira and Blewett. So sometimes it's those role players like a Quentin Gooden stepping up that really allow you and propel you to finish high in the conference standings.
Hey, you see the coaches on Xavier wearing the sneakers tonight, part of their Coaches Against Cancer initiative. Coaches around the country will sign their sneakers for auction to raise money and awareness. And talking to Chris Mack and his uncle Dan, currently fighting lung cancer, and as he said, everybody we know has been touched in some way, shape, or form, and it's great to see the coaches with those sneakers on again this season.
College basketball coaches are so identifiable, so visible. They send a message of cancer awareness, raising money. And like Coach Mack said, everybody has been impacted, whether it's been personally or someone that you love.
Inside to O'Mara. So well executed.
Perfect. And that's just Makira, the good feel and the trust of O'Mara having the seal. It was in and out of his hands in a second. Good look.
Rousey on the bench, and Howard drives it in. Good defense from Marquette. Oh, that was way down inside, or good defense from Xavier, I should say, but that was way down in and came back out somehow. Good dish, and O'Mara can't finish. Just couldn't quite get a good clean catch. Nicely done. Speaking of clean catches, Jamal Kane, the freshman from Michigan, caught it and reversed it for a bucket.
I still like Marquette pushing it to try and score early in possessions.
Makira answers for Xavier. His first basket here in the second half. And the officials are going to talk about this net situation we've got down underneath the Xavier basket. I think O'Mara, when he went up for that last shot, caught his hand in the net.
Got a paw caught in the net. Ripped it down.
I think they're going to have to replace the net. Check it out and see what happened here on this last sequence.
See if O'Mara was able to get back up and rip the net down. And he did.
Well, we're excited about this coming up, the greatest day in all of racing. It returns in just a few weeks. The Daytona 500 kicks off the new NASCAR season. President's Day weekend. only on Fox. Kurt Busch trying to make it 2 in a row, and Martin Truex, of course, opening up the season, trying to defend his championship with a Daytona 500 win. Looking forward to that. Steve Wojciechowski trying to figure out how his team is going to get back in this one, down 18. And he was conscious of the fact when we spoke with him earlier today about how difficult it is to come back when you're behind anyway, but much less having to do it in this building against a team the caliber of Xavier. So difficult.
It's just been a combination of a lot of different things. A lot of missed easy layups, easy shots right at the rim has impacted Marquette's rhythm. And then it's hard to account for a guy in Quentin Gooden who's not really been a scorer to explode for 13 first-half points. And you feel like Marquette's got to find a way to change the complexion of the game. And maybe something like this, a long delay where you're going to have to get a new net, get it put up there, will allow you to kind of get your bearings and maybe allow Xavier to get a little disjointed. But you look at those numbers. I mean, it's not complicated. You got to have your studs be studs.
Yeah, Rousey and Hauser, you saw that. The numbers on them tonight certainly not giving any support offensively to Howard, who has 27. Other storylines from around the Big East. Villanova continuing their impressive run, ranked #1 in the country. Looked so good last night against Providence. Creighton beats St. John's. And how about the news regarding Phil Booth?
Yeah, brutal. You feel for a guy like that. Sat out all last season with a bad knee, and now a fractured bone in his right hand will sit him out indefinitely. And that's a big blow, because if there was a chink in the armor, it was depth a little bit for Villanova. And Booth provided another ball handling, scoring player that can kind of help guys like Brunson and DiVincenzo.
How about the standings as we look at them in the Big East at this point in the season? According to how you thought it would play out, or what grabs your attention when you look at the way they currently set up?
Well, I would say that the thing that jumps out at me is Seton Hall at 4-3 is a little concerning. They're in a little bit of a tailspin right now. But you'd imagine with some senior leadership, they're not going to panic and understand that the ups and the downs are going to happen through the course of a conference slate. And then how about Providence and Ed Cooley and what they've been able to do? Been dealing with some injuries. They finally were able to get healthy enough to protect their home floor, and they're right in the thick of things at the top of the race.
Now on Saturday, we're going to be at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis for Butler and St. John's. St. John's 0-9, and I heard Donnie Marshall say last night, the best winless conference team in the country, and you couldn't agree more. But are they going to go winless all season long?
No.
Can they get a win Saturday at Butler?
They absolutely can. I mean, they've been right there in almost every one of their games. I mean, it's not like they're getting run out of the gym. They were had numerous opportunities to win at Georgetown, lost in overtime. You've just had a situation where they haven't been able to find a way to close out some of these close games. It's been hard with Levette on the shelf. I'd be stunned if St. John's goes winless.
Tough place to win on Saturday.
It really
Butler.
is.
Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, that's for sure. Well, the work on the new net continues. Might be a minute or two, and while they go to work on it, we'll take a break. Come back. Xavier on top of Marquette. On the rim after the net was ripped, and Trayvon Blewett done his share of wearing out the net a little bit tonight on a couple of three-pointers.
Yeah, he got in early foul trouble, but Chris Mack trusting the senior to get back in and play intelligently. Got the three to go down. They got a tough runner to go in. Then a little set for Blewett to hit a top of the key three-pointer.
Still just 8 points. He's only 5 points away from becoming just the 5th Xavier player in school history to hit the 2,000-point plateau. Maybe thinking about that a little bit tonight coming in that caused him to get off to a little bit of a slow start.
Could be.
Pressing a little.
Could be. I still think the foul trouble was probably something that messed with him more than anything. But 2,000 points, that's any elite special club to be in at any Division I university, especially one as prestigious and from a basketball standpoint as Xavier. And it was cool talking to Chris Mack today at shoot around. One of the things he talked about with Blewett was it's so nice to have a scorer not worry about him getting shots. You know, there's never been a moment of selfishness or worried about, come on, run a play for me. Oh, I don't got a shot, or I don't have it going tonight, I'm going to pout. Said there's been none of that for 4 years with Trayvon Blewett. That's certainly a luxury to have as a coach.
Well, that's not a good sign. Like they had the net all ready to go, and now they've got the net completely off. You know, what happened to the days when the net, remember, you used to have the hook on it?
Hook.
You could just put the net on the hooks, and now it's fancy. You know, you got to.
There's nothing better than getting
weave it through the iron and so forth.
Get a new net from the store. You go put it up in your driveway. Nothing more exciting than that.
Well, while they continue to go to work on trying to figure out how to put the net on the iron. We talked about Blewett being ready to crack that 2,000-point mark here at Xavier, and he's one of the top 25 finalists of the Wooden Award, just named one of the still the mid-season finalists for the Oscar Robertson Award earlier this week as well.
Deservedly so. Xavier's off to a good start. He's their catalyst from a scoring standpoint.
So now the players are going to come out and loosen up a little bit.
We're in a net delay here.
That's right. A rain delay, everything else. While we wait, let's go out to LA with Rob Stone.
All right, guys, let's give you a little break from Netgate over there. Donnie Marshall, Rob Stone here with you. Look, I've changed the nets on those Nerf hoops. They take time, and this one looks a little more high-tech. So we have an extended break.
Do you need a ladder on the Nerf hoop? Or?
Depends how high my door is. Tippy toes sometimes. Let's talk about this break in the action. Kind of an unusual break. Rarely do we see something like this. And then it's extended even longer. So here we are, Xavier, again holding on to this 18-point lead. But this break at this juncture, who does it favor?
You know, I'd have to imagine the team that's hot. Xavier is shooting 61% from the field. Now, again, it's all up to Marquette to stay in front of someone, to give the effort to get a stop here. But I'd have to imagine it's the team that's been hot. That's the one, even though it is the home team, I still think Xavier's thinking, look, we're rolling. We don't want a team that's known for shooting three-pointers in Marquette to get hot now because there's been a break. They're rested. It's an extended timeout that Woj can tell his guys, listen, this is what we need to do. We had one at halftime. We didn't really fix it. Now we have essentially another halftime to be able to clean up some stuff because Xavier has come out in the second half the way they left off in the first.
And Marquette has got some heavy lifting ahead of them. You play the game that you're in at the moment, but Wojo and his staff, they know what's lurking. A 3-game homestand, that's the good news, but it starts Sunday live on Fox with #1 Villanova.
Yeah, you don't want to, as a player, you kind of look ahead to see what's coming up on the schedule. You're thinking about tickets and who can watch and where you're going to be. But for coaches, they're thinking about this game because they know what you just said is coming up. And if I'm Marquette, I'm trying to get other guys involved in this game. Marcus Howard, 27 points. Listen, Sam Hauser has taken 2 shots, 1 3-pointer. He is shooting 50% from 3 in Big East play. Why can't he get more touches? So there are some other issues that Woj has to work out for his guys in this game that are on the offensive end as well. But look, you can't look ahead if you're a coach, but you need to at least have a competitive game just to give your guys that feel, that sense of, okay, we can play with these teams because they're going to need that down the stretch.
But we saw a shot just a few seconds ago. Looks like the net is back. Again, it was O'Mara that ripped it off. You would think all the shooting that Marcus Howard has been doing, that would strip the nets.
That's what I thought.
But instead it was the big man, O'Mara. We remind you, DePaul at Georgetown later, but let's get you back out to Cincy as we continue our coverage of Marquette and Xavier. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot. And, O'Mara, at some point, O'Mara's going to say, I was shooting it so well, I just took the net right down. Not quite that way, but after about a 12-minute delay, we are finally back in action here with just over 14 minutes left. And Najee Marshall says, yes, we're back.
Those are those 50-50 loose balls that Marquette has to come up with. They want to get back in this game.
Nice rebound and put back by the freshman, Greg Elliott. Drive by Scruggs. Well defended by Marquette. Howard on the push. Uses the left, but misses it. O'Mara there to clear.
You want to run some offense here to get you back into a rhythm. About a 12 or 13-minute delay. Pretty unconventional.
Scruggs. Look, Paul Scruggs. A little offensive aggressiveness tonight.
I just love that Scruggs off the bench as a young player. He doesn't worry about missing a shot. He can miss a shot, and on the next possession, if the situation calls for him to drive or attack, he's always looking to make plays.
Averages 4, has 10. Kane, long 3, missed it, and there's Blewett with a rebound. O'Mara wide open in the paint. Blew the defensive assignment somewhere because no one was guarding the big fella, and at 6'10", 245, he's hard to miss. The largest lead of the night for Xavier.
Got to slip some of these screens. Good pass from Blewett. I guess if you break the net, you got to get a dunk to get it back, right?
I've got to say, I love the new place.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I took your advice and had Geico help with renter's insurance. It was really easy.
Easy. That'd be nice.
For help with chairs, say chair. For help with bookcases, say bookcase.
Bookcase.
I thought this was the dresser.
Isn't that the bed?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. For help with chairs, say chair.
Does this mean we're not going out?
Bookcase.
See how easy renter's insurance can be at geico.com.
FS1 College Hoops is presented by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Xavier on a 16-8 run, its largest lead of the game at 22, 69-47, and Steve Wojciechowski trying to work a miracle in that Marquette huddle.
Not going to get back into this game unless you start getting some stops. And Xavier 9 of 12 from the floor in this second half. So Marquette didn't do a good job of coming out of the break and just trying to establish some defensive presence.
Marquette averages almost 12 three-pointers a game. I mean, 11.6 if you want to go to the exact number. Tonight, 3 for 15.
And I think that's been Xavier's game plan. Trying to just press out, run some of those shooters off the three-point line and make them finish at the rim. And Xavier's got the length and versatility to be able to do that. And Marquette hasn't answered the bell. You know, Hauser's only 1 for 2 from the floor. Rousey's 1 for 6 from the floor.
Rousey averages 21 a game. He's got 3 tonight.
He's got to get going.
You know, Chris Mack said yesterday, he said, when we defend the 3, we can't give up any dribble up threes, and don't want any threes from behind the screen, and don't foul the three-point shooter. I think they've executed those almost flawlessly tonight.
I think Xavier's done really everything they've wanted to do in this game from a game plan standpoint.
Rolling inside, can't get it. O'Mara kept it alive, and Gooden pulls it down. Xavier's won 3 in a row, trying to make it 4 straight as Makira. It's a good thing they put that new net up there, because that's barely glanced off that net, and that was it.
Looked like Marquette was trying to get organized in some sort of zone. And Makira let him off the hook by casting a long one. Now with Howard out, this has to be Rousey time. He's got to try to get himself into a rhythm here.
Rolling long 3, missed it. Offensive rebound by Elliott. And back out, Rousey drives it in, dishes, some contact and bodies on the floor, and Adam tried to get it through, and it was knocked out of his hands.
Looks like a little 2-3 zone. Man-to-man hasn't been working at a high enough clip, trying to change the complexion of this thing a little bit.
Ball is kicked. Xavier will keep it, and we'll take a break. Under 12 left here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. Back here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati, where 8th-ranked Xavier leading big over Marquette. You said at the beginning of the game tonight Look for some unsung players to maybe step up, and boy, have they ever.
Oh, my goodness. Xavier role players have been tremendous. Marshall on the drive. Paul Scruggs has been aggressive off the bench, making plays. And then how about Karen Cantor? Pick, roll, finish under the rim, and an assist from another guy in Quentin Gooden who's stepped up. But Cantor has been such a good find. Grad transfer from Wisconsin, Green Bay. And that's a market that Chris Mack has done a good job finding.
And how about Tyreek Jones, just to make sure he's not left out.
Just way too many dunks and layups right at the rim. Marquette got to put a little more teeth in their defense. Good set, though, from Chris Mack, understanding that Marquette had just gone 2-3 zone. A little blast play, screen in the bottom of it.
Elliott cross court for Rousey, but ends up in the hands of the coach, and that's not good.
Look at Gates screening Theo John in the middle of the floor. 22 on number 4. That just allows Jones to roam vacant on the baseline, and then he can rip the rim down. So good set. When I envision a Xavier big man, Tyreek Jones fits the mold perfectly. And what a good find on the recruiting trail from Chris Mack. Big, physical, plays with an attitude, an edge. Just a sophomore, he's going to be a really good player. Reminds me a little of Jalen Reynolds.
Went way east to Getty in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Kaiser Gates to the basket. Good defense. Coming over to defend the rim is Theo John, but called for the foul.
But that's what you got to do, Vince. I mean, at some point, go hammer a guy going to the basket. You're just giving up way too many shots in the paint. Got to send a message at some point.
Third foul on John as Kaiser Gates goes to the free throw line. 81% shooter.
I think it says a lot about Gates and where he's at in terms of being unselfish, that he has totally embraced coming off the bench. A lot of guys, when they get taken out of the starting lineup, will hang their head, feel sorry for themselves. He's embraced it, and he's actually been playing better basketball. Some guys a little bit more comfortable coming off the bench. And Gates has been great.
He had started every game he had played this season, and then off the bench the last 4. And to just come in with the same attitude, same aggressiveness, the energy that he brings, it really says a lot about the young man.
Yeah, because oftentimes, the lights go down. It's for the starting lineups. You get your name called. It's kind of stroking your ego a little bit. But Gates didn't worry about any of that. And he's just figured out a way to put an impact on this team. And he's been playing great basketball.
Quentin Gooden called for that foul. That is his 3rd. Marcus Howard back in the game. Howard's got 27. Rousey finally.
He's able to finally get some space off the ball screen, and Chris Mack screaming at Cantor, telling him to get out there.
First 3-pointer of the night for Rousey. Approaching the 10-minute mark. Xavier has never trailed. Gooden forces his way in, missed the shot. And here comes Howard. Game was tied 5-all, and then Xavier went on an 8-0 run. A whistle and a foul. That's going to go against Tyreek Jones. A little bit too much body bump. But Xavier went on an 8-0 run to break that 5-all tie, and they have not looked back since.
A lot of it was sparked by Quentin Gooden finding offense in a place where he didn't anticipate to find it.
Elliott bumped by McCura. Chris Mack asking for an explanation. He's going to get Sean O'Mara back off the bench and into the game. What do you think?
I mean, 2 hands, that's supposed to be called, but the problem is that hasn't been called all night. And I think that's what the coach's gripe is, just looking for consistency. I mean, it's the right call, but it's been happening all game.
Rousey, you can tell he's looking. Has to pass it up to Froling. Nicely done, the big fella.
I feel like Frolin's a guy that's just going to continue to get more comfortable. Had to sit out because of transfer rules in that first semester. So he's only about a month in to playing.
He and Cantor really banging bodies down low. Cantor leans in and he gets it. Boy, he has been so impressive. 5 of the last 6 games he scored 12 or more, and he is getting it done again tonight. 14.
A lot of teams have guys that you can post up and throw the ball into his size, and Xavier is a difficult matchup in that regard. They got multiple guys that are big and comfortable with their back to the basket.
Not much has come easy for Marquette in the paint, that's for sure. Shot clock at 5 as Froling lets another one fly and hits it. So 3-pointer for Froling brings it back to a 20-point game. We talk about nothing coming easy, and Marquette has been outscored 42-16 or 42-26 in the paint. So been outscored by 16 points in the paint. I don't even know if that's really all that surprising considering they're a perimeter-based team, but just nothing has been easy for them.
No, just missed a lot of shots right at the rim and haven't been able to make up the discrepancy in the paint at the free throw line, or at the 3-point line.
Elliott in transition. Marquette trying to chip away a little bit. The clock becoming as much of an opponent as the Musketeers at this point, with just about 8 minutes left. Blew it off the screen.
I mean, Vince, well, you talk about getting locked and loaded in a hurry. Trayvon blew it, little pin down screen. Look how fast the feet get set, and that ball is released. Splash. Blew it, beautiful.
FS1 College Hoops brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Xavier leading big, and it's been a long time since this one was in doubt. Very impressive by the 8th-ranked Musketeers here tonight already. As we mentioned earlier, undefeated at home and on the verge of, unless something drastic happens here in the final 7:56, will be 14-0 at home this season. And for Marquette, tough road to hoe even when you look down the road for them and what they've got ahead. They'll play #1 Villanova later in the week.
It's kind of life in the Big East, but you come off that 9-day layoff. Then you have to go to Xavier. You got a date with Nova. Certainly with those games coming up, regardless of if you win or lose or even come back and erase this deficit, you got to start playing high-level basketball, you know, and so that's what the final 7.5 minutes here. You want to see Marquette just feel decent about themselves here when they leave.
Reach-in foul called against Elliott. We're talking about the tough road for Marquette coming up, and we mentioned Villanova on the weekend, and then Butler, Providence, Seton Hall. And at St. John's is no gimme. I mean, I don't know what the record is, I understand, but still, there's no gimme.
St. John's has played almost everybody tough.
Elliott called for the foul. That is his 3rd. And a look ahead for the Musketeers. At Butler, at Creighton.
And 3 of the next 5 on the road. Find a way to bring the same energy and intensity they have here at the Cintas Center. And they're on the road.
And that is a big basket because he now has 2,000 points for his career. Pulls down the rebound and gets it ahead to O'Mara. And now the big fella called for traveling. Just the 5th player in Xavier history to reach the 2,000-point plateau.
And kind of vintage Blue it, right? Mid-range, tough shot maker. And that's a great play. And what an accomplishment, and the crowd's letting them hear it, and rightfully so.
list. He joins Byron Larkin, David West, Romain Sato, Tyrone Hill, and now Trayvon Blewett, the Xavier players who've scored 2,000 or more.
Amazing.
Cantor dishes to Najee Marshall, and the rebound cleared by Froling. Rousey tried to dribble between a couple of defenders and was knocked out of bounds by Xavier. The Marquette Golden Eagles will keep it. Rousey just 2 of 8 tonight. 6 points. Averages 21, second leading scorer in the Big East behind his teammate Marcus Howard. Marshall for 3. Froling again, missed it. Blewett comes down with it.
Just not going to see too many nights where Marquette is so cold from beyond the arc, in particular Rousey and Sam Hauser.
Off the Cantor miss, now Rousey pushes to the front court. He has not had any open looks from the perimeter tonight.
Yeah, the discipline, especially with Marshall. I mean, Marshall at 6'7" and long. It's a tough matchup with Rousey trying to create space and rise up from distance.
I mean, Rousey's 5'11".
It's a big height discrepancy there and length discrepancy.
I was never a mathematician, but even I think I can figure out that's 8 inches. That's a lot.
Inches. That's where Marshall's special. Being able to guard a guy like Rousey, make him frustrated, slide over, guard a guy like Hauser.
Well, and that versatility is one of the reasons why Xavier is one of the top 10 teams in the country. And they've got several players that you could put into that category. Howard trying to keep it alive, but it gets thrown away, and Kaiser Gates is fouled by Froling. And Gates is another one that I think you could mention, along with Marshall, does a lot of different things for this Xavier team.
And certainly Xavier's a team that likes big, strong, athletic guys, but there's some skill and guys that can score in a lot of different ways. To have guys off the bench like O'Mara and Gates that can come in, and one can hurt you from distance, one can hurt you in the post. It's got a lot of different dimensions to Xavier's offense.
Gooden, Gates, Marshall, O'Mara, and Blewett on the court for the Musketeers. Off the turnover, Elliott. He got up quickly. The freshman, Greg Elliott.
He's going to need a big offseason in the weight room. From an athleticism standpoint, he is there, but from a strength standpoint, he's got to put some weight on.
Blewett misses the shot. Blewett with a double-double tonight, 13 points, 10 rebounds, the 10th of his career. Marcus Howard finally knocks down a triple. It had been a long time in between baskets for Howard. He scored the first 2 hoops of the second half for Marquette, had not scored since. But it's been a big game for the sophomore. He's got 30 tonight.
It's just amazing, especially he's only 18 years old, an 18-year-old sophomore. He played a lot of last year at age 17, so he is still just a pup.
O'Mara around the rim and out. Sakar Annam rises for the 10-footer.
7-0 run here from Marquette.
Still a 16-point lead for Xavier. But you never take it for granted against a team like Marquette that can score so quickly, even though we haven't seen it from Hauser and Rousey tonight. Those guys are capable of helping Howard score lots of points in a hurry.
No question about it.
Trayvon Blewett, the 2,000-point producer for the Xavier Musketeers.
Marcus Derrickson was clutch for the Hoyas in their weekend win. He had a career-high 27 and a game-tying triple. to force the second overtime. Georgetown, they look to continue their winning ways next with DePaul. But first, let's wrap things up in Cincy with Vince and Nick.
Thanks a lot. 3:45 left to go, and Xavier behind a double-double from Trayvon Blewett on top big. FS1 College Hoops is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. And Chris Mack and company about to move to 19-3, 7-2 in the Big East. You know, during this winning streak, he really has applauded the defensive performance of his team, and he just says the effort and communication have improved.
But I think that, in a lot of ways, is the story of the night. You know, Xavier's ability to make Marquette uncomfortable, stay attached to the shooters, run them off the three-point line, communicate, has really allowed Xavier to enjoy such a good night here in the Cintas Center.
Kaiser Gates hits one of two. Marcus Howard, it's been a big night, 30 points, but he hasn't got much help. Here he is, fresh on the bounce, gets to the basket, hangs, and draws the contact. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot a couple. Here's our game summary, sponsored by SoFi, rethinking personal finance.
The three-point field goals. I mean, look at that. Xavier has outscored Marquette from the three-point line. Marquette makes about 11.5 threes per game, only with 6 here this evening.
And Marcus Howard just missed another free throw. He had made 66 in a row coming into the game tonight, and he's missed twice.
It tells you what kind of night it was for Marquette. Just didn't quite have it. Missed a few layups early in the game, and that can really zap your energy and your spirit. And then got an unexpected burst offensively from Quentin Gooden. It was really good in the first half.
Gooden had 13 first half points, including 3 three-pointers. Najee Marshall blocked and fouled. Theo John is not going to let too many guys drive into the basket and dunk on him.
I like the courage for Marshall to even take it at that guy. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to shoot that floater. Yeah. I'm not going to attack you.
4 fouls on John, and Najee Marshall, another outstanding freshman, goes to the free throw line and hits. I'm so impressed with the freshman players around the country. There's so much talent, and it just seems to be blossoming younger and younger, and these guys get to the college game, they're ready.
Ready to go. But you still got to go earn it. You got to go earn the coach's trust. Playing time's earned, not given. Guys like Najee Marshall, Paul Scruggs. These guys have done a good job of earning Chris Mack's trust.
Just took his eye off of it, out of bounds. Xavier will get it. Scruggs into the game for Makura. Paul Scruggs has been rock solid tonight. 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Really done a nice job in all areas. Grabbed a rebound, has an assist. One of those players, if you follow Xavier basketball, you're going to hear a lot about Paul Scruggs in the years to come.
We're talking a lot about Makura and Blewett for a handful of years. I think we're talking about Marshall and Scruggs a lot for the next couple of years.
Gooden can't hit it. Froling stolen by Scruggs. The lob. Oh! Quentin Gooden from Paul Scruggs. And Howard answers.
Boy, Quentin Gooden is quite an athlete for a point guard. He's a guy that can finish and play above the rim. And look at the steal from Scruggs, and Gooden was telling him to throw it up, throw it up. Look at him go up top and get it with one hand. Just an elite athlete. vertically is Quentin Gooden.
And he has had a couple of dunks. Both his dunks tonight have been ultra impressive.
Yeah, the first one in transition in traffic. Then that one, the lob.
And Gooden goes to the bench, and Elias Harden comes in. Gooden with 15 points and 5 assists tonight. That was his only bucket here in the second half, but oh, was it impressive. Najee Marshall to Tyreek Jones. Najee showing a little handle.
That's 6'7". Little crossover in traffic, good handles in the dish. The young guys for Xavier putting on a show here to wrap things up.
So Tyreek Jones will go to the free throw line and try to finish up this three-point play.
I think one of the things for Marquette, they're a really young team. Outside of Andrew Rousey, basically all freshmen and sophomores. I think tonight you might have seen a little bit of a leadership void at times. It's something that Marquette's continuing to work on.
Foul offensive against Sakar Annam.
Job by Jones. Normally a shot blocker setting his feet, taking one. But leadership's so important in conference play. And really it's have to be Howard and Sam Hauser as sophomores step up and be the vocal ones. And that's not usually how it's done. I mean, in the Xavier locker room, you got Blewett and McKeer are the ones that are talking. They're four-year guys, been through the wars.
Elias Harden rises and hits. One of the other freshmen. Harden hadn't played the last couple of games, but he says, I haven't lost my shot. Watch this.
I stay in a rhythm, no matter what.
Under a minute. Kane leans in and draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot a couple. Jamal Kane to the free throw line. And a couple of players exchanging pleasantries. Officials doing a good job getting in to separate.
And just a frustrating night for Marquette. Things can get a little chippy. Xavier will do that to you. Always leaning on you, pushing you, nudging you.
Kane shooting 2. The freshman from Pontiac, Michigan, had a career-high 16 in the first meeting with Xavier. Back at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. But not tonight for the Marquette Golden Eagles. And a whistle and a foul is going against Theo John, and officials, they called that foul on John. And if that is a foul on John, that would be his 5th.
I don't know what they called. They just
not sure what they did. I thought they pointed at Theo John, but not a foul. Inadvertent whistle, we're just told by the officials.
Jones maybe doing a little too much yapping.
Matt Singleton has come in for Xavier. Wears number 20, getting a rare opportunity for some Big East action. Harden in and out, no good. Kane clears and pushes and leaves for Sakar Annam. The Xavier Musketeers showing why they're the 8th ranked team in the country, and then some, winning their 4th straight tonight and staying undefeated at home. Now 19-3 on the season, 7-2 in the Big East. Xavier 89, Marquette 70. Now let's check in with Rob Stone.